Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with a little update for natural gas. Before we get into it, I want to say that we are currently doing a Euro analysis. I'm doing a written analysis 4 times a week with Jordan Marshall doing a video at the end of each week. This analysis has recently been very accurate, expecting a new low with some upwards movement recently. So if you want to check that out, there will be a link in the description of this video below. Overall, price has increased with increasing bullish momentum as the Elliott Wave count expects. Elliott Wave first, technical analysis last. On the monthly chart, we can see Supercycle Wave 2 pulling price lower as a zigzag, with Supercycle Wave C beginning to pull price up, currently within Cycle Wave 3. Cycle Wave 2 is labeled complete at the low for April 1st, 2023. With price now steadily increasing for the beginning of Cycle Wave 3. If Cycle Wave 2 does continue any lower, it cannot move below the start of Cycle Wave 1 at 1.517. And Cycle Wave 3 is overall expected to continue to pull price higher with a target calculated at 24.226, the 2.618 Fibonacci ratio of Cycle Wave 1. On the weekly chart, we can see more detail for Cycle Wave 2 pulling price lower, subdividing as a single zigzag, with Cycle Wave 3 now pulling price higher, expecting a bit of downwards movement for Intermediate Wave 2 within Primary Wave 1, overall moving higher. Intermediate Wave 2 cannot move below the start of Intermediate Wave 1 at 1.947, and once Intermediate Wave 2 is labeled complete, we expect upwards momentum to increase for Intermediate Wave 3. On the daily chart, we can see more detail for Intermediate Wave 1 with the end of Cycle Wave 2 over here. Intermediate Wave 1 subdivides well as a complete leading and expanding diagonal, with Intermediate Wave 2 now pulling price lower after the October 26th high where Intermediate Wave 1 is labeled complete. Intermediate Wave 2 has currently not developed enough to label any minor degree movements complete, so it is currently labeled as a single corrective movement, though as this structure unfolds, it may need to be relabeled. Intermediate Wave 2 is expected to continue to pull price lower with a target calculated at 2.594, where it would reach the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of Intermediate Wave 1. On the technical monthly chart, price has steeply declined, finding support at 2, and now increasing, finding resistance at 3.5. Volume is overall pushing price higher with a push on these green candlesticks. On-balance volume has previously broken out of resistance, giving a bullish signal as price found resistance at 3.5 with a push from volume. ADX declines, showing no clear trend with RSI and money flow both neutral and stochastics oversold, having remained oversold for the last few months. On the technical weekly chart, price has found resistance at 3.5, now moving away with a slight decline in volume. Volume is overall declining as price has increased, finding resistance here. On-balance volume continues in a range with no signal. ADX is increasing with a bullish trend. RSI and money flow both neutral and stochastics neutral, having just entered overbought previously. The volume profile remains bullish with stronger candlesticks on bullish candlesticks, which supports the bullish trend indicated by ADX. And on the technical daily chart, price has declined quite steeply towards support at 2.65 with an initial push from volume, though volume is overall declining recently. On-balance volume continues in a range, giving no signal, though as it reaches support here, if it does move below, it will give a bearish signal, and if it reacts from support, it will give a bullish signal. ADX declines, showing no clear trend with RSI and money flow both neutral and stochastics neutral, though nearing oversold. As stochastics nears oversold, where price nears support at 2.65, the current downward swing may end around this point, with an upward swing occurring at that point. That's all for me with your little update for natural gas. I hope everyone has a good week.